I came back from a 4-day work trip to find a shed labeled HOA storage being built on my lawn, so I sued, won $94K, and made Karen demolish it plank by plank. I came back from a 4-day work trip to find a small construction crew jackhammering my grass. At first, I thought I had the wrong address until I saw my dog's chew toy under the bush they were about to rip out. Then I noticed the half-built shed with a sign that read, HOA storage members only, on my property, right on it. Welcome to Prodigy Tales. Make sure you like and subscribe for your top-notch HOA drama. I parked, got out, and calmly asked the foreman why he was digging up my yard. He said to take it up with the HOA, so I did. I marched down to their office and got greeted by Karen, the HOA president, sipping something from a Boss Babe mug. She barely looked up and said, "We're expanding our storage for the neighborhood tools. The board approved it." "Great," I said, "except you approved it on my land." She smirked. "It's common area, you're confused." I wasn't. That land was mine, legally mine, and I had the plat map and deed to prove it. I went home, pulled up every record, even highlighted the boundaries. I emailed it all to the HOA with a firm warning to stop the construction immediately. No response. 2 days later, the concrete slab was poured, my grass was gone, my bushes bulldozed, and the shed walls were halfway up. That was it. I printed a 3-foot wide sign that read, "Private property, you are trespassing," posted it on a wooden post, and drove it right into the lawn facing the construction. I took a dozen photos from different angles, time-stamped, geotagged, backed them up twice. Then I called my real estate attorney. By the time the HOA had the audacity to send me a letter claiming I was interfering with community development, I had already sent them a cease and desist via certified mail, with copies of my property deed, my survey, and photos of every square inch they were violating. They hadn't just built on my land, they'd messed with the wrong property owner. My lawyer didn't waste time. The cease and desist letter was professionally brutal, highlighting clear trespass, lack of permits, and demand for immediate removal of all structures within 10 business days. We sent it certified, return receipt requested. They signed for it, then ignored it. Instead of backing down, the HOA ramped things up. The next day, I got a citation in my mailbox for non-compliant signage, my big red private property warning. A second one followed for unauthorized landscaping changes. Apparently, the hole they dug in my lawn counted as landscaping, and I wasn't allowed to alter it. I went to the next HOA board meeting to address this nonsense. The moment I walked in, Karen gave me that smirk again. "Oh, it's Mr. Survey Lines, ready to cause a scene?" she asked. I stayed calm and handed out printed maps, survey documents, and time-stamped photos to each board member. "Your shed is 10 feet onto my private property. I've notified you. I've given you every chance to fix it. You're choosing not to." Karen rolled her eyes and said, "It's for the benefit of the community. You should be proud your yard's being put to good use." That's when the room split. One neighbor clapped, another whispered, "That's not how this works." The treasurer started looking uncomfortable. After that meeting, my lawyer filed for a temporary injunction in civil court, and we added retaliation to the list. HOA fines for fake violations. Classic case of harassment. And just to make sure we had our bases covered, I had a licensed surveyor come back out and remark the lines with stakes and bright orange ribbon. But the real kicker came when a county building inspector stopped by. Turns out the HOA never pulled a permit for the shed at all, not one. He jotted down notes, took some photos of the construction, and looked at me. "This is a huge violation. They're going to be forced to explain themselves." I offered him coffee. He smiled and said, "You may want to keep all your documentation ready. This is going to get interesting." Oh, I had it ready, and I was just getting started. Court was quiet that morning, but my case file wasn't. We walked in with everything: certified letters, photos, timestamps, a copy of the inspector's violation notice, and 2 boundary surveys with GPS coordinates. My lawyer was calm. The HOA had no idea what was coming. Karen walked in wearing sunglasses indoors, trailing their lawyer, who looked like he regretted every life choice that led him here. The judge wasted no time. "Let's establish the facts," he said. "Who owns the land?" We submitted the deed and plat map. Surveyor took the stand, pointed out the boundary stakes still visible on my lawn. "The structure crosses the line by 10 feet, he said. "There's no easement, no shared rights, no ambiguity." The HOA lawyer argued it was a common area misclassification and said the board assumed the land was theirs due to historic use. The judge looked up. "Did you pull a permit?" "No, Your Honor," the lawyer admitted. "Did you verify ownership before construction?" The board believed I didn't ask what they believed, I asked what they verified. Silence. The judge slammed his gavel down. The HOA is found to have trespassed on private property. The lack of permits, retaliatory actions, and continued occupation after formal notice shows willful negligence. Karen's mouth dropped open. Effective immediately, the HOA is ordered to demolish the structure, restore the property to its previous condition, and compensate the plaintiff for damages, court costs, and legal fees. "How much?" Karen whispered to her lawyer. He didn't even answer. After the ruling, neighbors started asking questions. I got text from 3 people saying the HOA had done similar things: repainting mailboxes without permission, trimming trees without consent, even rerouting sprinkler systems without notice. Apparently, I wasn't the first, just the first to fight back. Karen didn't speak to me. She stormed out of the courtroom like a teen who'd just been grounded. Her power trip was over and everyone saw it. I left that courthouse with more than a judgment. I left with the full force of the law behind me and the HOA completely cornered. They tore down the shed in silence. No ribbon cutting, no newsletter announcement, just a silent crew early in the morning trying not to be seen as they undid their arrogant mistake. I watched from my porch with coffee in hand, while Karen stood across the street pretending not to look. The land was returned to its original state, sod replaced, flower beds redone, though I made sure they didn't plant a single thing I didn't approve. My lawyer made sure they paid every cent of the $94,000 settlement, damages, legal fees, restoration costs, and a fat check for wasting my time. Karen resigned the following week. The email was short and passive-aggressive. "Due to increased personal obligations, I will no longer be able to serve this wonderful community." The new board president, a retired judge who'd clapped when the demolition started. The fake violations I'd been fined for vanished from the record. My unauthorized signage disappeared from the record. And those neighbors who had whispered thanks at the court hearing, one brought over a pie. Another asked if I'd help them challenge some suspicious dues increases. Looks like the HOA finally woke up to the fact that homeowners actually have rights. I installed motion-activated cameras around my lot, added new survey stakes, and now every inch of my yard is accounted for. I even had a small engraved plaque made. "This land is legally and forever mine." A week later, I got a gift basket from 2 of the former board members. I tossed the fruit, but kept the wine. Karen still lives here, but she doesn't make eye contact anymore. She walks her dog quickly, head down, sunglasses always on. No more power trips, no more smug lectures about community needs, just quiet, awkward walks, and the reality that she got legally and publicly wrecked. As for me, I sit on my fully unbothered porch with a yard that no one dares step foot in anymore. All it took was a little boundary line, some legal pressure, and a whole lot of backbone. Let that shed be a lesson. The end. Please like and subscribe for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think Karen got what she deserved? Comment below. Would you fight back if the HOA built on your property? Drop your take in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more HOA takedowns that hit back hard.